bo omo cap game omo no mu use omo cap games no mo de den omo de asha new team no into the season into omo be boss aso na Italian Serie A so no be starting out to say yes be bia aye de wiase nyina be de we share the last 3 months ya ayare ho sampa enye say ebia club world cup ne be share ho na mu ne mu ya papa we are gradually we are almost there enye asem get to akra teams ne guswa restructure almost squad no guswa signing players bi muso movie players are moving. Chelsea in common air coso, Manchester City in common air coso, United it appears as a ban attacking options now they are okay. Now midfield no my imagine say omo de abrantie ba akoba be de ba be ballroom abrantie ben you be di ehun enkomo. It appears omo defense no sorted. Goalkeeping department and so there is a vote of confidence in abrantie friend Andre Onana. And yasam ketu akra. It is a way Man United ni na o hwe se goalkeeper foforo be bad pa dia and you tumuda goalkeeper foforo bi anya den emma nti ye bedi san komo no hey ene Marcus Rashford akodi nkomo bi Marcus Rashford wakwa akodi nkomo bi o say the Bia Man United transition the Bia United is doing transition but they don't even start the transition for say ebia transition no say ebia started. They've never started the transition. All the time they are in transition. They need certain principles and stick with the principle. But it appears as a reactionary Man United call season 1. They react to what the season no but instead of saying plan. And no, and I'm make mason. They call baby. Say, we hear Chelsea owners ya. Omun tiso dogo bi no abe. We hear pressure abo omoso. So omun sign a defender. Omun sign goalkeeper. Omo bu omani eguso. Omoso enya de ombe sign no. Does it goes to what? To fit into Adriana Marcus Rashford kano. Ana say Chelsea owners na asobrache. So you be this ankomo we say ene ono oye true and true Man United boy. Ohun Ferguson and obehu post Ferguson. Though I'm under Alex Ferguson, but he was around. Ohun nyama no mo ye. Any other coaches nearby and nyama no mo ye de omo ye. Into Louis van Gaal by the kind of players be an omobo. Okoye na Mourinho baye ono so a players bi ode baye okoya na we aba na we players ode ba okoya na we aba enti ensame a wokan ye bedi hu komo na afei ya kire ya adwun Liverpool, what are they doing? What type of signings are they going to make before a year season no and as a transfer window no be den ebe end kan hu say Liverpool na be bo first game omo ne bomb off omo bo Friday anya sem ketu akra bibia kire se almost squad na 10 wo honum enti almost ye be Arsenal there it appears completely done. Now Tottenham Hotspur, what do they have for us? Tottenham Hotspur, what do they have for us now? No omo gbe room say akora we so bi ewo Man City omo kofa no omo say ebereche eze omo akwa na de na ba nene court of arbitration for sports ade abetu dwa say wo hwe demotion na Crystal Palace enya from after so mo win FA Cup no omebo Europa but so omo way omo twin Brano wo Lyon no ono so qualify Europa nti Crystal Palace mom eno mo dimoti omo de omo Conference League. What you say? Omo say omo mum no mo dimoti omo de omo Conference League. And omo de assembly ko PM court of arbitration for sports. And omo head the UEFA ruling is indeed omo kobo Conference League you know. Into yebedi sound komo no. What does that mean to some of the key players for Crystal Palace? Magui, it is clear say obeko Liverpool. We and many more ɛne nkɔmɔ a yɛba abɛdim yɛba bɛdi yɛbɛdi nkɔmɔ ɛde awuram ɛwɔ ɛyɛ super cup na ɛkɔ so no ɛne Donnarumma so ɛde na rep sam aba bɛtu dwa sɛ nkrofo bi ɛna ɔbɔ mu team pɔ sɛ ɔmo allow no ma na nyɛ part of the project going forward, and indeed na no see ya ɛna Luis Enrique sɛ ɛnyɛ nkrofo bi a ɛyɛ ɔno a though we are best goalkeeper in the world, but goalkeeping now we no me different profile. Tell me na ma dia tum se me nyada osa. Ti me fa nkɔhye nkofobia. We ni nkɔma ɛno so. Ɛba hɔ no ma ye ne wo AD ɛwɔ ha. Andra Real Madrid so ɛbɔ ɛyɛ friendly game. Nya asɛm keto akra. Rodrigo Goes ɛbɔ obi a kyese ne yi utimi so ɔno no until so dogo bi no abɛ bra Man City fo ayo ma so mpɛ so moto no no. Until so dogo bi no abɛ. That is how it is. Real Madrid players no be no opese obi ofri o. No Real Madrid player wanted to leave. But I do say a ton I no hear den obeko. Enti we and many more. Show me live. Ewo Facebook. Live Facebook. MyBet ni boom. MyBet no den ebom. Aha, MyBet no ebom. Sa enete honom. MyBet now the Africa na den ato aso. Sa so na ABN Radio 1. ABN Radio 1. ABN Radio 1. Aha, bomodian na etwato so honum na bibia nso no yeden enko yi honum. Yes, twato so ho na bibia enko yi. Sa pepepe. Twato so ho na bibia enko yi honum. ABN Radio 1. Sa so na Street is watching and so Facebook. Na uko YouTuber, yes, ko ramu YouTube MYBET.AFRICA TV, MYBET.AFRICA TV. Sa so na show no esa so etwagu ya de hu videos ni ade na ya na ya de tum ewo na de videos ni ebesra mu munye hu adwuma emfama yen pa na yen posti ewo sports.arena.news no na yen increase ye numbers na ewo ho na bibia so enye dem enkoye ba bia yedi dwa no endra me ko se Dynamo Kiev to score omo no mo say bet no Dynamo Kiev to score pa force abone 3 goals Dynamo Kiev ntumi anche 1 goal kra ayarewosam ehonoma no pɛ ne sɛ bet no ehonoma a enye fɛde agro eho na yebesa awuram na yahwese yebedi bi na bibia nso no atumi akoye nti bowuram was sports arena ewo Telegram account na afi bibia ntumi koye money man yenhwɛ MYBET education very important yemonwuram say league ne ba yede fantasy we no so be de beba na bibia nso na de akoye.
Yes, I share MYBET education there in him say the league ba be share and they cry league no officially we competitions be share na na super cup ni be di kan.
Yes.
Nti so pe be twa bet me too for say MYBET.AFRICA and I be twa bet. And one game na wo Tottenham and Paris Saint-Germain. Open selections kese MYBET.AFRICA. Adenti ameka sa ni say MYBET ma kwan ma otiminya 10 different options a free game a eba so eni. Nti ene ansa na show ni be ko na wi ene be ma bet slip based on sa de we a make announce wetimi hu. Na be join ni dia ko www.mybet.africa. Top right corner be hu icon be a circle ni green. Umia so a ube hu register any login. Register ya me register ne so 3 simple steps. And I'll be register on MYBET.AFRICA. The first one your phone number. The other mobile money transactions. Uboshema. Now for the work the next one. Username beti me your nickname. Ufie di be a person use to be ano abashim. Now for the work password. Password the one in password I'll beti me there show. Ubo we ano wako confirm password. No asambo asansheho. No abo register ne so. Enche bi ombe send verification code. Now they are verify your accounts. Now so about become MYBET ebusuano. And the super cup eba be kosi. Options 10 different options in this game. Ubetimi enya nti ene is a Tottenham na OGD so ubetimi win ya ubetimi akọ Tottenham win and a win or draw ubetimi the goals account corners bookings bia up to 10 selections nti with just one game ubetimi enya up to 15 to 20 odds a free man usika no bedu eno na MYBET dey man omsi league ba be sha say aka bonus 1,500% up to 1,500% into your selections no now bonus no munsu yedu into weekend Friday Saturday Sunday she share long bet 30 teams now unto timi unlock 1,500% in MYBET.AFRICA to bonus potential winning the more do ye pa eno mo dey mine insi hwa omusanse cash out into wa share long bet na games ne course no na cash out option available partial cash out Saturday cash out na ba be demu betimi yibi. Now they are wade no atwen na matches na to aso akosi Sunday and I betimi yi ni na de besi Sunday emfa ho eno na MYBET e de man nti ene www.mybet.africa now so be join ebusu na season we ye mu yi MYBET ani na eba be fiscal ewo.
Right, iti MYBET na yedi hu komo e de ache mumrenra transfers nimti ye wi ana ya ba be hwe the Super Cup. What do we expect from both teams? How should Tottenham Hotspur approach the game? Near there.
Okay, so if transfers here, and him say any goalkeeper back one di ateni baby Donnarumma. We drive bedini on come with quality okuta any enyama Donnarumma the about team no. I think say in any team obia fan bia nyanka Donnarumma ne don pom. But any Paris Saint-Germain he so mbeti me agya ne kwan ama bibia akọ. Na azat anopa we price tag om dey atone so 40 million. Omo has at least between 40 years or mutiminya. Omo say the likes of Man City enya Donnarumma omo peno. Na ade ba kwa ama ene Donnarumma conversation netimi apage mu comment Luis Enrique at the buy.
Okay.
And based on the comments, na rumors say cost to say ni DN Super Cup squad ne ho. Banan phone Jindi Kopim's official squad ni PA na ni D. It was a bold statement from the coach say ampa goalkeeper no me hiano. And now my style of play no ontimi mbo. Mebeka wa hansu ndra say ohwe the FIFA Club World Cup final between Chelsea and Paris Saint-Germain. The most important people on the pitch were the goalkeepers. Because se Sanchez na ball no betimi abo long ball. Say ni ndra o cheche mu na ko enima. Donnarumma long balls or boy ni intimi do the player.
And that game, would it be the most in a game? Say a player who attempt a lot of long balls.
Not intimate.
39
yes
to 40. That was huge.
You know, with the way Luis Enrique set up the team, from Barcelona to team even to the Spanish national team Okoya, up a ball playing goalkeeper. Only Unai Simons about the Spanish national team because of the way of the ball in the free chi. Into Oshe Paris Saint-Germain team of person building no. Chelsea game no de ba kwa man who said there be mitiminya that ball playing goalkeeper or no wait me aboa in free chi. And they dem bia na Vitinha be drop so deep to pick the ball from the goalkeeper. But I think it's a contract on sem nso ebedimu. Luis Enrique coach bia ebano going out on players or number 1 you who Dembele. What happened? They do baby a can kete in Komuji Dembele squad number because the way are not person player and the bubble on the man not on board. Inti Osha the way are Donnarumma and Luis Enrique kona. Now the relationship between the player and the coach na say. And they've brought in a new goalkeeper in Lucas and he's looking at Obenyat in the first game against Tottenham. Osha the man same way baby Donnarumma agent friend Enzo Riola on the Mino Raila with Freeman ne cousin nti ofiri mu no mo handle that is the agency no na ne buafu ye pa adenti ne buafu ne is concerning the way Paris Saint-Germain treat Donnarumma or say Paris Saint-Germain will respect ma Donnarumma na mo pese okwa enhu hia so mo de price tag kese beto ne so to make sure say other clubs nem enso betwe ho afiri mo ene Man United I na dream say they are not going in for Donnarumma. Chelsea why not doing say they are not going in for Donnarumma. As of now, Man City ni Galatasaray and our front so mbeti me aiden going for Donnarumma. But Man City and I show interest. Galatasaray who says Man City beti me for Donnarumma, they are meaning say they can also go for Edison. And also beti me aboa. But Donnarumma ni ideal place of playing the Premier League. In tenye mo say before the end of this transfer window, Donnarumma beti me assign am Man City. But eno also be gina Stratford signing, it was based on say he's coming in as number 1 so that Edison a bit major. As of now, Man City about 4 to 5 goalkeepers in their books. At the end of the or at the beginning of the season, say Donnarumma beka between Edison and Ortega, omu mienu ba ko betimi akọ and omu mienu na betimi akọ Man City ehwe. So Donnarumma nsem ne de aba be nsem bebre. I think Luis Enrique crowd the eja aba begum ama sisi asene anyama akeka akọ no. The relationship between the player and also Paris Saint-Germain, Luis Enrique, Atiko. Player friend Munoz, Rodrigo Munoz, Fulham for player. Now last season, to help a player no bemu in the second half, Ebeshe goes ma Fulham pa Rodrigo Munoz. Now they named him performance and not Danidi. He was one of the players coming from the bench to score. We John Durant from the start of the season. Now onona ne dikaya. Going to the latter part of the season, not Rodrigo Munoz and I need ho. Ope typical striker, that old fashioned striker or attacking box no o use na ho odin making sure so bully defenders or you one of the strikers team bia be na dream say onya no bepe ene Atlanta aboere mu ibisa fuam for say omunya player we omope no ye nenim say Atlanta tom key striker ama akwahye ene no omo hwe say omunya another striker betima be ma ba be replacing say in Atlanta ene Rodrigo Munoz say di nkomo and the player is very keen in moving to the Serie A because I think or that belief say oko Serie A na with the performance other than in the Premier League no obetimi ato so abo goals no e winning man of the match awards etimi am make sure say the Serie A no ebeko na wiye no na top scorers say ni din that first ni din betimi awom with a good performance no etimako Fulham will say at least with a 30 to 40 million almost betimi enya and omo other Rahul Jimenez nso as another striker but they are looking at say Rodrigo Munoz say timi kwa omo target Calvin Lewin into as a noun omo need lease and they pray for Calvin Lewin signing say so a free agent into omo timi jam Munoz kwa there they would go in for Calvin Lewin ombe so ba be boa we Rahul Jimenez e we nim ho ama bibia akoyi say we Italy there yen hwe Rasmus Højlund and Man United for Manati ase and even in their last friendly you know Ruben Amorim man 1 minute in Pamana Bejina Park so it's a big statement the chair said the club is looking at say ombet meja ne kwan manako na onu player no he's a supporting Man United free in Colabrim na it coming to Man United na a big dream for him to come to Man United because club or support free in Colabrim na club na tiska ba betono in the aim this will betimi put up a good performance to make sure say Man United be do that glory days now no mugusu wom no but as a now Sesko aba no Sesko profile any profile any Zegzi profile is same onu ne ba be the odd one out because a coach niped we ne striker be drop you betimi nya that in Zegzi or per striker be attack box no with strength Sesko betimi the amount to ba be surplus to requirement and they Man United but as a player on also person Man United ni AC Milan di nkomo na ohwe sika etaichi I think is a good deal for Man United adenti America san say AC Milan say ne so mutimi nya Rasmus Højlund on loan on betua that is 6 million euros for Rasmus Højlund that loan move ebeba no and ohwe loan moves are mostly akosra 5 million clubs ni bi on podia on tuache but be cover player and salary na then there wouldn't be any loan fee being paid but then contractor Roma for to Man United in so Man United 6 million of loan fee obligation to buy person with the shame 45 million no must be making sure say Rasmus Højlund salary on be cover ni na and a Man United phones we need deal on because Rashford called Barcelona was something similar omentimi nya anything on transfer fee but at least a 30 million na Barcelona betimi atono and say Højlund enso timi ko AC Milan in a range of they are getting up to 51 this is a player omoto on 75 into a say out of a season obetimi nya 51 from the player at least we're cutting the cost down and for one season on to your player and salary AC Milan will cover everything as a now bibia or Rasmus Højlund side Man United are approving that is the offer AC Milan they aba no meaning so je ho into a Højlund from now to the start of the Premier League and a Man United first game on Sunday also to me decided because the Serie A best start on the 23rd into an AC Milan and so first on also bet me to nyama ye then they will start the season with Rasmus Højlund.
What then anchor right and what went wrong for Højlund because he was doing so well for Atlanta
yeah
and to share the amount of money Man United the kofana na imudu pa den pa na ankosu yam farmer because if you see him play for Denmark will look it different
from
Man playing
United
for Man United.
Oshe Højlund I think adi anko ya mane one when Timmy and do the peak and KB as a player person do Man United say na kind he is a fan of the club and adi ariasi my then say be support the club now new opportunity new omuye ejumampo but Oshe at Man United he had a good start baby no he was depending solely on his strength trying to bully defenders and not make the basic inyama here fi striker Ushe Bruno Fernandes at the end of last season ni chances of creating quite almost 90 plus ne striker odi nenim it me 4 goals meaning say the player is not doing the basics right Inti say ne say I'm farmer now. You could see say the basics and all messy. And Man United the club yeah. Yeah, Beba Rashford in statement so. But Man United the club yeah. As of now, there is pressure from the fans. They don't have time to give the player maybe 2-3 seasons. Say on mature on so to be able to reach the peak as do. Inti they are looking at say what about 2 seasons ni. Last season the numbers are was reasonable kaka in your first season in the Premier League. But this season we are dropping so deeply. Last season we are almost getting to 13 goals in all competition. This season do 10 goals in all competition. This shows say what dropping and we are expecting you to at least improve or add numbers. And they only Sesko, but they are looking at Sesko giving them at least something similar to what you are giving, but more in numbers and more in goals. Interne Oshe say Amfa Manu Man United that is based on the player himself. When it may improve it from the Atlanta days performance or Danedy. And Oshe even in the Serie A, the number of goals or share, it doesn't really sit well for a striker moving from the Serie A to the Premier League. Because over Serie A now it's maybe about 9 goals a season. Now if they over into the Premier League and you can't replicate more than that, then there is a problem. Interne say Man United the Jani Kwan they Jani Kwan based on say Sikanom de Koftor Rasmus Højlund, they were feeling say he would grow into that key striker, the Hurricanes, and maybe the likes of Haaland. But after 2 seasons, or declining, so they are looking at bringing in a new person and a new Jani Kwan. So and maybe so would he agree to move to AC Milan? His salary is covered, a loan fee of 6 million to Man United, and an option to buy for 45. I think Man United fans but the player is still holding back. I think say so almost start on first game in the Premier League. No one's going to mean any minute. He would be willing to now move to AC Milan. Bibia ebetimi akoso. Yenhwe Cristiano Romero. Ene Tottenham for Adan di say on your new captain. Yenim say human son koe na ohwe Tottenham captaincy we ni na vacant. Ene Frank we Thomas Frank and as the club captain going into next season. I think all that leadership skills, to be able to lead this Tottenham setup. The only problem I'm in one is sometimes the emotions are overcoming in games. Into who their games are as a captain, time on your captain, their games are only players or who here. And I think that the captain handsman will bring something also to him. Said now you are the leader on the pitch. In terms of team making decisions about boa team, he gets the chance to now speak with referees. Saying Yanka first about team now man yellow card and now he gets the chance to speak with referees. So Adia Thomas Frank here or Tottenham set up now. And yeah, in the first thing, me who say he wants to impose something on them, discipline. And they say Tottenham you back into the game. Tottenham we squad on the call the Super Cup game now. Bisuma him. And Thomas Frank reason they say several times why he late to training. And I'm now meeting from the squad. This show say he wants to come into the team. Though say in quote or manager be because maybe afin or shas but or buy into the team so team this are discipline shame. And I think say he's looking at it from the aspect say okay say Enzo Maresca to me free lease Leicester about Chelsea it me in stores are discipline magnify me Otimi Airborne Brahma Bibiakoya, he can also do the same thing and make sure the Tottenham team, everybody would adapt to the system of Peso. Na Bibia Betimiakoye, and almost a replacement for Song. And they also Madison and they will pra. Until they are looking at Savinho in dry ball home come say Man City, if Tottenham are willing to pay 50 million, Man City bet major Savinho crying. And as of now, Eze in Komo question they say he is leaning towards Tottenham more than Arsenal. Because of Philly he or Eze naturally or Arsenal fan, and he was looking time at Arsenal rumors nearby and then near GA. He spoke with his close friends on your Arsenal but the way Arsenal Jaima in Semino Court Sano, if Tottenham are willing to pay that 60 million to 50 million at Crystal Palace he's willing to move. Interne Thomas Frank or Juma Ewan and Sano, the Super Cup, and also making sure say the team no bet me out to be BIE now going into next season or no bet me competing for the top 4 and also any other European competition because
okay yeah Mr. Mami yen share here for na mensa mama kwa but I think say menra me hu Gianluigi Donnarumma statement I think say real when me abeti say in football Mr. there are some coaches that they believe highly so much in teamwork rather than individual performance, and it should be who your goalkeeper now join team there. Now, you know the reason why United had one of the best goalkeepers in David here, and anytime I am man for a did you an attempt, nobody Ten Hag attempt, and it's evident that Ten Hag, when he came to United, he needed a goalkeeper who can play the ball. Same as Pep Guardiola. Guardiola about Manchester City. Same as is it Joe Hart?
Joe Hart.
Oh, Joe Hart every month. People didn't be England #1. So whatever it is you wanna do, I did also there you have to do. And I don't think say at least and now we money man. Now we coach then who coach no. You have to start or build up from the back. And if you don't get a goalkeeper who can help you build up, anytime you're about long balls, anytime you're about long balls, then wow, at the end of the day, or no player no assign 5 years. Who coach yeah, be a born who do more pa now be a best sakeno when near one koya, it is you the coach. So why should Obi say Donnarumma? Somebody like me last season, I wasn't even expecting Donnarumma to be the goalkeeper for PSG because of how many say coaching and the build up. But last season, they didn't have the opportunity to sign any goalkeeper. But then they still maintain him as their first choice goalkeeper. And then the other way in Abani said the player feels already. Even summer transfer we do. There's been a lot of conversations that just said Gianluigi Donnarumma will leave PSG. He's been linked with Chelsea, United, and recently Enra Abase on L'Equipe for reporters on Man City for Irish agreement. But at least if you look at the situation now, one Chevalier, if he Lille, Ebe join your mono, it was obvious. It's obvious that this player is going to start, and people closer to Chevalier will be like, actually, Gianluigi Donnarumma at a young age of Trinity or Italy, no other man AC Milan, always has been one of the best goalkeepers in Europe. So Odama Leon no Odama Eye PSG, and even having that incredible season at PSG having a last season, who your goalkeeper, who are Leon, who are Lille, who are Marseille, that's a PSG back before. Always you have it in your back of your mind, say you're going to be a second choice goalkeeper to Eye Gianluigi Donnarumma. But when Scott for Branson and any name about said the Chevalier was going to be the first choice goalkeeper, and we read Donnarumma statement or the two jar. The statement in Nakwa say it is a club ni mum. Bakwa say nipa bakubi. And I say on pese obema na toso esina kind of PSG. And ye ni nipa baku, which is Coach Luis Enrique. And Enrique squad what they buy or drop pay Donnarumma from the Super Cup squad. Nyame aduma nani o me Tottenham bebo no. Wa be ka say no any decision, not the club, not the player decision, or no any decision, and or they are dropping Gianluigi Donnarumma. Same as Thomas Frank so called pre-match. Or so can say or no any decision or they are dropping years Bissouma because or tired late to training. Not once, not twice. And I know they can bear 3 times or 4 times at Branton. So no coach Thomas Frank or no decision or they are dropping it. Today, Donnarumma ne Luis Enrique issue. Akwa clear and you see Luis Enrique no at Barca team be our coach be one way or the other onya a problem with either a player, either or style of play, uba be integral part of the team. If you are not disciplined, any Sunday man will be but I think say. And I saw say Donnarumma is being linked to Manchester City. I was like, if Enrique can pay Donnarumma, would Man City would they need him? So it means that maybe this season, Pep Bettman more long balls and Obenya a player who can fit him because it got to a time. So when Jorginho was at Chelsea and took your percentage to be a starting ball in free back and Mendy. He has started ball and keep on the ball to and Mendy the never ball. It was Jorginho who was doing that for a Chelsea team. So, and my thing say Donnarumma and PSG is a more love story, no. I think it's a baby, and it's one of those things that if you're a goalkeeper and you want to play for coaches or more build it from the back, and you're not. Some people might say goalkeeper, they say you're not, but then it is part of coach, you know, system and list to yet me in free. Liverpool ne Abranta and the Isak deal these two. I still think say there's a way the two teams can maneuver a way on meeting they play now. But now the last time you hear reports about Newcastle, the reason why especially people believe that this transfer window they've been the rejected stone. Obuko player be a one na our player na rejecting. And maybe Chemu say Amanda Staveley, who was the minority shareholder and a co-owner of Newcastle team, when the Saudi for the better team, he was acting as the sporting director with Nikunu Godosi, and they've been running the club. Omo buy no, omo the cover Alexander Isak buy. Omo extended Bruno Guimaraes contract. Joelin Timo, Sandro Tonali, they did a lot of things to get Newcastle team. No? And you see, if you look at the stance of Newcastle, and when they can catch us, and the reporter, I mean, top transfer gurus, David Easton, Athletic reporting, say, as a last season, Paul Mitchell was a sporting director for Newcastle. News say Isak Ekachan said this is going to be the last ever season for Newcastle. Some of them are more close to the boy and close to the club because listen, I'm just say the relationship between Isak, Amanda, because they were very close. I'm not going to boy in the buy, and there were transfer talks before Amanda didn't come more shares in every team anymore. And when Pomecho buy, last time I catch you say Pomecho buy, he wanted to continue, and now Isak didn't come say there's this transfer pending. Negotiation na many Amanda Moy answer na in the omo fit team mu and okache say they have to work on omo PSR and to clear the books. Into what they when they came in, they had to extend some of the players and also sell some of omo players to go somewhere else. Now when omo years and money in Antonio Gordon enya contract extension with an increased revenue because at that time Chelsea and other teams no more chasing Anthony Gordon. Now, if you look at Abranta, he believed that maybe he might be the most important player in Newcastle setup. And Pomecho Efeli so bit Marichi, the agreement Amanda Moyes and Common Rich, so he's ready to move. And another way, and a report in Chelsea, Eddie Howe is also the coach. Even if the club ain't me finding decision with the player, he also wants players who are ready to play for the club. In any time press conference, there will be a question about Abranta Dede, Alexander Isakoma, Omomoya, where say if the player is not ready, there's no way he's coming here to earn the squad. And the coach also protecting the team as teamwork as usual. Now, in as much as Newcastle board, led by our chairman, Yasser El Rumian, who is also a fan favorite of Alexander Isak. A client said they don't want to sell the boy. But then, looking at the situation, and they reported for Isak camp so bad, say, list to Isak can say, Oman Tonokra, he's not going to play for Newcastle. He's not going to play. So, currently, Liverpool for making sure say they will table another offer. Now, Severus betting day. Liverpool for the transfer spending so far, especially in the Premier League, more already the summer transfers now. Currently, their mommy, and I think say, listo, I won't be surprised if Liverpool be remove close to 400 million because currently, a more transfer no, 252. Now, 252. So the 200, who the 150? And the last time he came a catch or say even Alexander Isak need due to obiti say Newcastle. It will be more than that 150 million because agent fees and the player and the salary of Aberdeen is almost closer to 250 million. So listo, this is the amount of money Liverpool has spent. 252.2 million. And one thing is that this season they've been able to do a very good business in terms of the outgoings. In tomato 168.6 million. And Tima also top players more. Chelsea 240 million. Some of them come or agree deal no last year, but a better in their books this season, and they've also been able to sell 200 million. They will check on net spend now. This summer transfer window means that acquire 40, and United are spending close to 197.2 million, and almost sales apart from the add-ons is from Ilanga, Carreras, any other players no. Enyam and Emba Hasi, and now Arsenal so at 192, and they've been able to sell just 6.9 million because almost all players will be now free, and Man City at 153. Now, Listo. Maybe this point, and I still see Listo. Liverpool will sign 3 or more players because they are agreeing that they will sign Magri. Then that is it. Leonardo is the one who I want Palmer. Palmer,
that's a youngster,
18-year-old boy, and also Alexander Isak. Now, and a list to and sorry, I don't pay out. Athletic for every year, bia. Omode the Premier League hope o meter. Eba and then no, idea. Omo follow the season ticket holders in England. Then money man or Chelsea fan on your ticket holder or Ghana no. Oh, so vino. Omo adeno. Then they will ask their fans how optimistic they are ahead of the season. Say bia or omo feeling so omo club no. Ombeya this season omo nyade the expectation ahead of the season. Then it's a virus betting that to some last season. These two. Who check here? Nottingham Forest fans. Any team is the Chelsea. Nottingham Forest fans. They were so high. This was the feeling of fans ahead of the 2024-2025 season. Last season they knew optimistic and pessimistic. And they Nottingham Forest fans no munya at least. And this season because of the signings of more any the players they know at least or meet my baby. Look at us now. After coming second, they were also optimistic. Said, club meet my baby. Wolves, Liverpool, Crystal Palace, Chelsea. No more fans. Engine the class. The club could have done something because Wakokofa Enzo Maresca, and they Maresca no by country. On Sansuni any Premier League experience. Who check the signings of more year? How much that any statement signing here? It was like we are going to the season with Cole Palmer, Nicolas Jackson, and Enzo Fernandez. We have prospects, but we are hoping they can gel to become the potential now. The Chelsea owners now. You're sorry, I'm not list to Premier League Athletic Fund 2025-2026 Premier League Hope Omitano. How some fans feel about Omo teams in this season, prospect of Omo team this season, and the Chelsea at the first with 98%. Only 2% of the Chelsea ticket holders are Omogie part of the survey. No, 2% penny believe say Chelsea expectation and they are not optimistic. Say club and by there, especially this season. Premier League. It's a virus betting back on to 2025-2026. Then Liverpool a second, 97. But Listo, and then Mitier Marcus Rashford interview. No, and then link a Chimadrimas. Looks like Newcastle fans, no. Listo. Sorry, Liverpool fans, no. Or more high hopes for meeting this season. But me share money dear. I think say Listo slot bebre. Tactically, Nema share especially mu game of money Crystal Palace boy. Anyhow, or defense near too open. I think say Listo. Liverpool for I feel no best starting their proper transition. You see. So me share Liverpool team the last season say when George Klopp we free on they brought in a coach and come up start something. So Liverpool team like say mama in slot any expectations on Concord League. So after that me share them the fans are not getting why the club is spending so much and why the club a person for a young teams because this too I think Bakura Richard Hughes and Mike Edward Mo a year and say when they lost Trent Alexander-Arnold, the most important thing for them to do is say come extend the contract of Van Dijk and Mohamed Salah and Van Dijk 34 years. Omo in extended a year plus to so 2 years. And they are buying players that next season biano se Salah ne Van Dijk kwa we are still building the team that yeah me so mo ntene ade ababaye tipaye American kan for Liverpool team no Ibrahim Konate and they are bringing Magui, they are bringing that youngster from Obitise Palmer and ade ba kwa I think say ebe ha Liverpool team ni pa Jaro Kwanzaa, but people shouldn't forget say they have a buyback clause in that deal. Now listen, if you look at
how no, so this is a player with an opportunity. He's not pulling away.
Listen, Kwanzaa didn't get the opportunity now. Kwanzaa was a second fiddle to was say.
So I don't know the chance. We are young players, so the chance they give you, if you take advantage of the chance they give you, that is where they will continue giving you. Trent Arnold, man opportunity back. Obo back no who say no. Akola obetima eden, obetima bo. Nti yema chance now to me more. I'm not sure say you because at the time I almost squad no, especially almost defense near 10 and you expect Senka or you good enough and come be keeping no.
Yeah, I get your point, but I don't know what say me who is akwa say Kwanzaa deal next and Liverpool didn't want to sell him because of the future of Konate. But the boy needed playing time from the representatives. Yeah. Any Sani Manning na so another factor. But now listen, if you look at Liverpool team now, I think say what they are doing, they believe that although Iron Slots are the league, but let's think about the first time and you see Mitier, Rashford, and the Ampa Club Crabba Liverpool. In the first 4 seasons used to one G anything significant apart from that. Europa League BR.
Okay, Europa League final. 2. No,
yes.
2 years.
They didn't do anything significant. And you see, they according to checking Liverpool team now, how on their transition, you see, people are even surprised that team and Kawaji League every day. Team and Kawaji League every day. The following season, Conchana most signing because even Iron Slots first season, the only signing he did was Federico Chiesa. And even in the season under review was Federico Chiesa an integral part of Liverpool team. No. So what's Liverpool team now? The reason why they are spending big is that they believe that Afena Slots ever started the transition post Jurgen Klopp. Because listen, if you look at Jurgen Klopp first season at Liverpool, or the 3 players by on board, and especially in the 4 seasons and some of the Premier League, always be and listen, no more 3 players. In do check here. In the first season, or the Natalie Klein mo, any Milner, any do mobile. Then again, the following season be almost also here already said, almost also another 3 players. It's also buy Van Dijk, Salah, and Alisson. Those days was a very expensive signing some year. Then again, almost also the Joel Matip. Gini Wanajo, any man name by the following season, 2016-2017, 17-18, and Van Dijk, Naby Keita, and Fabio Mobile, and it's also followed by Thiago Alcantara, Diego Jota, Ibrahim Konate, Eber 2021 and 2022, Diaz, and in that January summer transfer, and then the Nunes buy. But this season, I said, I slot buy. He was coming to start near Marcelo Bianca at least in phase 1 and the Obabe team and then Liverpool and Arsenal win a drop here. Then he had opportunity because he had experienced players in the setup. Van Dijk, Salah and Alisson. S2D up, Gravenberch and McAllister S2D up and Diaz was also part of Jurgen Klopp projector. Obeka say player near Bianca projector Klopp players so to be shemu. Omantimia living up to expectation for that last season was able to beat Nunes. So Liverpool spending no more. Actually, say in as much as they are champions and they want to win, they also want to keep that high standard because their fans are hoping say they will also be at the top there. It's almost sign is at least two. Or me in this season, one, they have a short-term plan. Say, oh, you're just league last season. And you be a young at their crowd. We have to make sure that you be maintaining your top 4 spots, and they are all ready to do that. You're talking about champions. Last season, be doing PhD free, and he was champion. Say, you're more homodia. You have to beef up the squad for a short term and it's also a long term plan and an idea at least to team the area. In the North, Liverpool spend no more now. They could spend and 3 more players a bit more back home. And I understand, say, this season, if they don't win the league, they don't have a problem because we City in 2019, now watching the Premier League, you're going to another season. Now was spending more. It was City. The last time we City flew out, now say United, and I sign money be. Sebia, those days I'm so or we had Graves in those days. Nana watch league all going into the season, or a top spender in the Premier League. Now, if you look at Liverpool for squad now, anyhow they've spent say, in fact, for the past seasons, since Ferguson time United, and the past 3 seasons, team Biobeji League be an upper top 6 spenders no more count. For normally, Uji League we are the following season on time you buy in some 1 or 2 players, be not the very short team. Ubesha City team here. Or they Highland baby or team about so in fact, or more done because sometimes they even fail to enter into the team. Calvin Phillips more any other players. So I think that Liverpool spending no more. It is quite unusual of a Premier League winner. After Sawaji League, we are all spending some money. And then they believe that they have to transition mode. No, I instruct Bayern. Ajumana club she go on. 1 year signing Bia, and he managed to implement on any ideas that of club ideas, no, to get the players to win. And in fact, only Obiad said Liverpool had a very good season, and the most important players for their team. One, Salah, he won the Golden Boot. As also, I think the Playmaker Award. Yeah. And that alone, we need Liverpool more points than any other player or than anything for Liverpool last season. So, the fans, they have high hopes that Liverpool a bit MYBET. But if you look at the club and the sporting directors, they believe that that's a foundation. Now, next 2 years, Salah and Van Dijk might not be there. And even Alisson, they have the replacement of him, George Mamadashvili. So whatever Liverpool is doing, a quick fix, coach Nimba Wabeji, yem to be shame because last season they went into the season with 6 attackers, front 3 attackers. Number 10 Ronin Kahu. They have Cody Gakpo, they have Nunes, they had Diego Jota, Nyamen Fanny Crazy, Wenyan Babyco, and they had Nunes. And at the right side, they also had Mohamed Salah, and I think another player,
Federico
Chiesa. Now, they only have Hugo Ekitike, Mohamed Salah, maybe Chiesa or your part. Then probably Cody Gakpo. 4. We can even add Bendok, any Obi to say Roy Ngumoha. But then they are not even the senior part players. You know? So looking at how Liverpool are used to, they are spending big because they are buying for iron slot to start on a transition. They are buying for iron slot for a long-term period. And Medibera Rashford has said, I don't know if Senka Varus bit mambo video na mayetia.
Video no.
Yes. Varus bit mambo video and you see, I think say United for no. I am the passer Rashford ababo and Tameka Assassin. Ronaldo Bekan coach in Buffy and Mani Free. Now, as well Ronaldo Bekan. Currently, now the one who's on my complete some 50 million current one swimming a team like United. They didn't have a pool or more current training grounds. But they have video, no deep.
Yeah, but show me a successful team that just adapts. When Fergie was in charge, not only the principles for the first team, the whole academy set up so you could pick players from 15 years and over, that's a full generation, and they'd all understand the principles of playing the Man United way. So you see it with any team that's been successful over a period of time, they have principles that any coach that comes in, any player that comes in has to align to these principles or be able to add to these principles. Whereas like at times I feel like United have just been, we're hungry to win, so we'll always try to, to adapt and to sign players that fit this system. But like, it's reactionary. If your direction's always changing, you can't expect to be able to win the league. Yeah, you might win some cup tournaments, but it's because you do have a good coach and you do have good players and you have match winners in your team. You're not there by accident. Like, this is what some people forget. So yeah, we've been way below where we deem United to be. But then if you take like a step back, which I've been able to do, especially over like the last 6 months, what do you expect? People say we've been in a transition for years. To be in a transition, you have to start the transition. So it's like the actual transition's not started yet. So like when Liverpool went through this, they got Klopp, they stuck with him. They didn't win in the beginning.
True.
Do you know what I mean? People only remember his final few years when he was, competing with City and winning the biggest trophies. Didn't win in the beginning.
Really
so it's like, to start a transition, you have to make a plan and stick to it. So this is the thing that I think.
It's not easy to do, though, is it? If you're
it's not easy to do.
If it's not going well, the fans
100%. But this is where I speak about like being realistic with like what your situation is. I feel like we've had that many different managers and different ideas and different like strategies in order to win. You end up in the middle of like you.
Okay, Listo. I think say what's in my brain now, and you see, me share a video no, me pick 2 key points from a Branton interview. He says United ain't no man's land, and then again, United transition. On your show, so Omedi can cry. I started transition. You can put that. Now, Listo. Oh, tie Branton. He was talking as a fan, and also as a player. I believe say when Cafe give you on. Always be we are in transition, but I say transition and no more can. And started always be better analysis. Oh, and a transition, guys. So the I know transition list to. If you're in transition, one start here. There's nothing like transition. And you see, he mentioned said one Fergie flew on because list to Fergie spent I think 26 years, earning over 30 trophies, 38 trophies are stand to be corrected. But list to. Since Ferguson free United 10 managers and none of them and the team spending more than 3 seasons. David Moyes, Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ten Hag, 10 managers including the interim remaining caretakers Carrick Mo, Ryan Giggs, none of the Ruud van Nistelrooy, Ralf Rangnick, all these people. And you see, if what's national team say no, as some that Branton Ekano, I think that some United fans might go after him by the then. Omuno more na omo club no. I struggle for all these years. Any Branton be happy, and it's a say anytime be as animal you be happy play be cancer and it means that it's either Ubeka, your mom team you who there to Ronaldo when Obek about their training facilities and near man they were some 10 years ago and one of us between Nadia never Jim Hono 10 years ago Ronaldo saw some between when he came to join the team back again and then they rushed the through. Now let's ask the question: if Marcus Rashford was still a United player, do you think Zenka did podcaster or Lineker any Mika Rich is quiet and Quebec assassin? No, because when you have a cape there will be a backlash. But then, used to. I think say whatever Marcus Rashford can is true, and I think say the United in paying for no should take some advice from this. In fact, who check the 10 coaches are since Ferguson flew. I say club need plan because Rashford can him say if you don't have any plan, there's no way you have even a better transition. And I say United team I say yes, you are a transition. But any coach be about you have to win something. As also a GBB. And Sandy Manamayan, I'm not team no alcohol with him because since Ferguson free one, they won just 3 trophies. FA Cup Baku, EFL, any the Europa League. Now if you look at United team, they haven't got the only time they got closer to the Premier League was when Mourinho Diomuto also second. Then I think Ten Hag so Edom also second. And apart from this, Coach Biaba in the first season or also second and second season year because they believe that Biaba. If you look at these coaches Amaba, Omo philosophy is different. Omo need any plan. Who checking Mourinho philosophy? It's different from what to say. Louis van Gaal. David Moyes' philosophy is different from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So all the coaches are my nyano. Oh, you want a coach where you are dear pal. You can find him right. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can come be interim manager. And then Ole Sadi I am a permanent job near a man engagement. Now if I read maybe a Rashford kind of thing say na I am a day posse. We've been way below where we deem United to be. But if you take a step back, which I've been able to do, especially over the last 6 months, because on Rashford as a player, he believes that in as much as Onyenya a better career, especially United, no, since you know Rashford shared 20 plus goals, 20 plus assists, even people believe that he was one of the best players in the league. You know. The following season, Ostepe back, and he had to leave United to Aston Villa for the last 6 months. Now he is back to Barcelona to redeem the career. And I'll say, what do you expect? With any team that has been successful over the period of time, they have principles that any coach that comes in, any player that comes in has to align to. Whereas at times, I feel like United have just been hungry to win. So we all always try to adapt and sign players to fit into the system. If your direction always changing, you can't expect to win the league. That is as much Rashford kind. Again, see, people only remember the final few years when we were competing with City and winning the biggest trophies. This is where I speak about being realistic and about what your situation is. I feel like we've been had that many different managers, different ideas, and different strategies. In order to win, you end up in no man's land. So, different managers, different strategies. Mourinho that's a defensive attacking football. Van Gaal bar different, Rafagin bar different. Only Gunnar Solskjaer they say tete man you attacking football into your bar near speed now ring a score. So different strategies and Mboma team no enya some stability. And you see, Achime Dimako Todd Boyle mo team be our plan. Look at City there no. Who check City ah? When ETR for by they needed coaches on the as a good football, Italian managers, Spanish managers, until Pep Guardiola or be for team for more than close to 10 years. Now look at Arsenal. When Omoyo Mutim they needed somebody transitioning Ateta, Ayaba, Omon Pamano. The only time I can say be a Chelsea team no, when this clear leg for the Bayern, it's only Enzo Maresca and Asha or second season. Graham Potter didn't go 2 years. Pochettino didn't go 2 years. It is only Enzo Maresca. And when even the Bayern, they had a plan. Now, on first season, they wanted to make a statement for the club. So yes, they better team left Roman Abramovich. But when they came on Metal, Sterling, they knew said no, this is not the way to go. See, they brought in sporting directors to help them. And then they say, Graham Potter Bayern Amboa. They knew say Pochettino what he did for Tottenham Hotspur at that time they do be not Tottenham top 4 beyond Tottenham. They also believe that how they want the club to play and a move dream for the next 4 years. Maybe now Pochettino outgrow Ababe a winning coach. And they don't check Pochettino. Maybe that role na no ye Tottenham no. Or no person winning so the person on and they brought in a coach. They believe that he can align to club and a plan. And now in the first season people might say Chelsea fans no too loud, but then who check here Chelsea season they didn't start well, but in the middle of the season they came on top and every person who believed that Chelsea was not a title contender was saying say Chelsea a title contender, and then again almost also be dropping form before Mabesha Manchester PSG Aquaquasha Roberts no Chelsea had gone 16 games normal winning move 14, so they ended the league on a very high note, and then they from the FIFA Club World Cup up to preseason games, actually say among how coach is on board. And the last time he explained several formations they want to play, and none of pictures here about a big screen and was showing how they also build up into whatever Russia they can. I think say many and the idea United for some always for the past years United needs sporting director because Ferguson and ran a team here and there. But for you to be able to run a club at the very highest level, to have a plan, say any transition from phase 1 to phase 2 to phase any Arsenal medical can say any Arsenal for in that transition since Ferguson coin. You know me buy obeji FA Cup near my name be, but then how Arsenal wanted the club to be playing Champions League always need intimate draw, but Mikel Arteta buy it. But best of it that issue. Now I can't just the winning mentality. A medical can say Arteta buy transition amount. If Arteta intimate for Manji any major server this season, 7 years, they have to let him go and bring in someone who can align to especially how they want the club to play, possessive football, then or this our winning mentality, baby. So I think that United team no, who check it, evidence that since 2013 they haven't won the league. Who check it teams are Omaje League now. Since 2013, I think it's Leicester RGB, Chelsea RG, Man City, and Liverpool. These are just the 4 teams of match. Chelsea did the last time, no be any Ruben Abramovich. Or no already made players near the one back. Then coach 2-3 years on one man job so he had this or no so already. Or top big names players. No Domaba, no Domaba Beji. City buying Obabe building from scratch because Pep Guardiola first season 1G trophy. But the following season, second Obeji to also the only closest teamer. Or Bebe no be second. United are second, Chelsea are second or third. Liverpool need the only team or no more compete here. Arsenal Liverpool ever be boring magic. Arsenal when got the movement to my end, they've also come closer and momentum. So I think say whatever Rashford is saying, this owners in your money, Nema no me. By almost dance and Nema, they are changing current in training ground. No, about one of the best in Europe or in England currently. They have plans say Old Trafford. No, renovate. I stand up man so be the Manchester Wembley, and also then again they should have a plan. Now Ruben Amorim is somebody they can start that plan with.
Okay. Yeah, we share a Super Cup no.
Yes, share Super Cup now. I think Super Cup competition so be anymore. That is the Champions League winner, any Europa winners, and a ball. And in the history of the Super Cup, no, in the last 12 times, no, it's just once. And a Champions League winner, no, elusu, that is the Super Cup final. In the mostly every time you get a Champions League team performing so well, so beats me about no more than Paris Saint-Germain. This will be one thing as we need to crown their European dominance because they've with the French competitions, the French League, the French competitions, of course, getting the Champions League and getting the Super Cup. Yeah, Thomas Frank and then the Tottenham setup name Bimno. One thing about Thomas Frank and him, so a coach, he's very keen on the strategies and the plans, especially going into games. In Tinenya, once hearing news, so we Besuma out of the squad because of a very disciplined, a bunny games one. Now going into this game, Paris Saint-Germain, we share English clubs last year. Say we share English clubs in 8 times. Name 5 with me winning na a 3 and with me lose here. So meaning say or back into another competition with another English club. Or she said it wouldn't repeat sending the last meeting with an English club it will be a good game for team friend Paris Saint-Germain and also for Thomas Frank to make a statement going into the season. Say Otimiko boot to boot with Paris Saint-Germain. All eyes will be on him. Say the team no about set up, no bet me set team near very well and make sure say be a bit me akoye. Paris Saint-Germain set up now in their last 9 games. Omo make sure say clean sheet ya di omo timi keepy. Nti o share in their last 9 games omo boa emu 8. Omo timi bo omo more than especially in the European competition. And Tottenham on the other hand, no, anytime you be lose to any team in an European competition, no, it's a 2-goal margin or more. Nti with facts any BBR air back said this will be one game. Paris Saint-Germain would likely want to win the game to be able to cement their chance in Europe. And on Tottenham's side, no, is a big statement for Thomas Frank. Players to watch in this game, Ousmane Dembele, send your that screen is no. He has been the key man and send the Ballon d'Or on common debate me akoswa. In himself we have almost 39 to 40 days and send you announce the Ballon d'Or. And this is also something a competition as well Timiji. Mohamed Kudus is also one player to watch. Dan Vincent Becheche must say obi obetimi gina that human song boot to make sure say he's that key man Mohamed Kudus into any Owejuma than Insano. He can win his first major trophy as a player. and they all say bibia betimi akoyi. But on the side, there are players like Joao Neves or me say that is this game because of the red card onya in the FIFA Club World Cup. Kulusevski is me say out of with injury, James Maddison is me say with injury, and Solanke me say with injury. To show both sides Tottenham may say 3 crucial players in their setup, whilst Paris Saint-Germain may say just 1 player. In other players coming in to replace Joao Neves. But on the night, I think the Paris Saint-Germain, from their humiliating defeat in the FIFA Club World Cup, they want to come into this game and make sure say that fear factor will still continue, especially with the Champions League coming up. Tottenham also won they need to go. But on the night, I think Paris Saint-Germain has the upper hand to win against Tottenham. If Tottenham beat me, we need this game. It will take the brilliance of Thomas Frank to be able to outsmart Luis Enrique, Senya, Enzo Maresca, which I think it will be very difficult, especially on Thomas Frank's side. But I'm seeing this game as a game. We are going to see a 2+ goal margin. It's either Paris Saint-Germain will be winning 3-1 or a 2-0 win for Paris Saint-Germain.
Okay.
Yeah, Listo, I'm very happy, especially as a Ghanaian. And Obekaya, the last time I did tell me, say, I didn't want to believe, say, Tottenham Hotspur for no. It was a deliberate attempt, say, when Son Heung-min was playing the last ever game for Tottenham Hotspur. Omuyi Nefrima also both Newcastle and Tottenham players in the elbow Musamamano. The player who was coming to replace him was Mohamed Kudus. Ebia that the mere story Becca say when I'm there Mohun Kekabadi see the points and the perspective of Americans as an I evidence virus in fact waiting to Sumami match and a flyer. When we were playing the FIFA Club World Cup, you remember final. FIFA for free players from the advert. It means that they called arguably the best players and the poster boys of the teams. So if you look at Dembele, he's the poster boy for PSG teams this year. If Son Heung-min was at Tottenham Hotspur currently, Mohamed Kudus wouldn't be there. There's no Maddison any available. He's not there.
So on the flyer.
Yes, on the flyer.
Okay.
And let's say BBC always be the poster boys. Any players are arguably the best players for the team.
And we friend said before the FIFA Club World Cup, no we first flying. It was Dembele any human song. And
yeah.
That's all.
Okay. You know, a champ said the last time I saw my car say our Ghanaian brother should take this opportunity because we check it Spurs we Gary Bill through or ne Modric actually ni days and was Spurs until Hurricane then Hurricane through then Son Heung-min became the poster boy for Tottenham Hotspur. On what the Bakwane Boisson say the numbers and the revenue not the great team no was exceptional. The following not the great Tottenham team was something that it was helping Tottenham team no. And I think that since Kudus bad Tottenham Hotspur, just look at Omo Tottenham for Omo Instagram, Omo TikTok, Omo X page. Players Omo posting ipa Mohamed Kudus. And when I call West Ham, maybe can't answer me. So I think that it's an opportunity for him to at least showcase what he has for Spurs fans. And today might be the first timer Obetimiaji first European trophy. In fact, I think he can become the second Ghanaian to win the UEFA Super Cup after Thomas Partey and Atletico Madrid for year in 2018-2019 thereabouts. It's not going to be an easy game for Spurs. People should forget the fact that Chelsea share PSG over the FIFA Club World Cup and now Botafogo for no Eshom. They are still the best team in Europe. They will miss Joao Neves, but then in this time, William Pacho is back. Zaire Emery can fit in and play the game very well for them. But they shouldn't underrate Thomas Frank, Tottenham Hotspur. In fact, they haven't had a very good preseason. That is Tottenham for part. Omunya have a very good season and a preseason because if you have a buyer for the show. But then we have a mobile game. If Kudus Nyani they if Solanke, I think the Solanke made mistake game. Richarlison, Matthias or Odobet Munyo Mugima. I think say but they are still under transition. I think Thomas Frank never say about beat me about implementing the ideas. I was a quick counter-attacking football, but against PSG, OG ball they will make sure say if you get the ball from them, you will have, and one thing more yeah, say their ball recoveries and are very good. They are midfield trainer and they are going to miss one player or ultimately recover ball more in Joao Neves. So if Spurs will be able to take their chances in this game, Mohamed Kudus, Richarlison, then complacent in front of goal, I think say they can score a goal. In this game, I see Tottenham scoring a goal. In fact, PSG, they have a very good record in keeping clean sheet in their previous games, but I still see say Tottenham Spurs scoring in this game. It's going to be an interesting game, but I'm hoping say the last time someone McCain and evident that Kudus, it is up for grab, a new player, and already me, UEFA, and other people also see you say, oh, you poster boy. This is the 9th. In fact, we know both Super Cup in the season about starting. Everybody will be watching this game, and he has to showcase and show Tottenham Hotspur fans what he has for them. And in fact, that poster boy flag at Tottenham Hotspur, why already say Obetimi Aje, it's going to be a tough game for both teams. But then PSG arguably coming to this game a favorites. I see PSG winning because money man can say normally who check it the Super Cup. It's only one time per in so many years. And the Waji Champions League, Oyebo Super Cup went to me Angie. And I see say PSG will also continue that incredible form from teams at Omoji side. Tottenham Hotspur, they don't have a very good record against French teams, but then they won against Marseille in 2022-2023, or more record against French teams. But then check PSG out of 8 encounters, send a money mankind against English teams, they've won 5 and more lose a 3, and they are run to the Champions League last season. They score Aston Villa, Newcastle, and Liverpool. So I think it's going to be an interesting game. I see PSG winning this game. Both teams to score highly possible. Then I think over 2.5, over 3.5 goals highly possible. We should expect a lot of bookings because per here Bebobi na Kudus Mbenya ball bed running 110 desire dream. I mean both teams now are players some quick feet like more that quick feet now. They are natural wingers and dribblers, so fast will be coming from both halves. I mean both teams. Baby fouls, baby. So we can expect over 4.5 bookings in that game, and over 3.5 bookings in that game, and also corners. A bit Basa game will be over 8.5 over 9.5 corners, and I think that PSG are the likely favorite team. I believe on beating my winning this game.
All right, okay. Until my share awesome. A few minutes until awesome now.
Okay, into me autumn the match for 4.3 on the Super Cup game. I bet now goals over 2.5 in the game. Paris Saint-Germain, Tottenham to score, and corners over 8.5. Booking and so over 2.5 and a Paris Saint-Germain win or draw 4.3 odds. MYBET.AFRICA code no 6FHY 6FHY MYBET.AFRICA.
All right, my selection for the day 3 games. The first one is PSG and Tottenham Hotspur, a belt builder, a win for PSG, over 2.5 goals in that game, and both teams to score. So match a 2.59 odds. Istanbul Başakşehir and Viking, the Conference League, double chance for Istanbul Başakşehir. Astana and Luzernspor, and also double chance for Astana. Code no 4FHY 4FHY out of 4.83.
Okay, all right. Inti so me dey no na me hwe na matches na ase na hwe dan ya bi asa. Me hwe na me fan bra so china na egum pa. Inti yeah, Istanbul and a Viking and a ball. So much over 1.5. Bolton and Sheffield Wednesday. Our EFL Cup no. Bolton Sheffield Wednesday. Chomo 3 handicap 3 na ko mochi. And Huddersfield in Leicester. over 1.5. There be and Leicester we need a half. Leicester we need a half. PSG ne Tottenham Hotspur over 2.5. And Barnsley and Fleetwood Town over 1.5. Yeah, auntie, and na Andrew Amoko ecosystem Saint Central for your mama Congress.
Listo, I think say before I go Congress, I think the numerical crowd kind of mommy some information. Doc James we say mommy. I was like this is going to be the 31st ordinary Congress at GFA and me started made boy and especially to the local league, domestic league, division 2 division. Me who say yakwa Congress yes in Central for in realm and na maintaining paying them that. So I think the day before na that in na GFA for base media will be allowed to enter the premises. But then again Obawa the Congress room you are not allowed to go there. But I was like but is this FA saying that the Congress will be aired on TV? So if say adibi katasumo masubia TV, why is it that media people are not allowed inside the room? And before Congress never best started, you see in Central for your baby arrival pre-event the least chance baby and we have to do interview. So me one interview be and he beside the reason why they are not allowing us to enter. And as Henry Kayane said, this FA is trying to solve some of the issues, especially Congress. And one thing they said, last year, there were a lot of people in the room. So it is one of the reasons why they don't want to allow the media to enter, to interrupt whatever will go on. In fact, the media will not media and vote TV. Over 100 media for now present to then na camera because of last year they were no discipline no bin camera so they don't want that to happen. Then I asked myself that so you knew say it also a idea I'm person improve. I don't have any that because last now can even CAF and FIFA. Some of your Congress they can say that they won't allow just few media men to
until wow we enter accreditation to wow be accreditation it ye call I AFCON and you be an CAF for the omo way by say and you be an obenya into omo approve ya and no normal announce say omo limited way no mo de be ma it where nya bia wan yede where nya bi na what now baby but we dey mo anya bibia sa.
And notice it comes to bad very late because used to I knew some media men almost free sunyane anytime when they buy ombedu you know mood us come in Instagram bank come and come back. Now the show was streamed live on TV. Pram we had to go to these TV stations or more GFA for YouTube to watch whatever is going on inside the room. And also monitoring the GFA account. Now you see that comment now, Henry Asante Chumu is the communication director. I say they are trying to improve Congress meetings in Anemaniaman, so they won't allow media to enter. But after there will be a press briefing between the ESCO members, the president, and the media. There be some more questions. But at least maybe then say, if you are saying say not allowing media to enter, and you say bia muka ko bibia ebe boni bia, but then again, mon person. Nipa hope a baby break or 100 media for no you don't want to also bia also be ye must be or marsha unimomono ube you crab no ma or mama cannot ranching. But then again list if you had planned to do this reservation video now post the media for net unkunya no checking do saying that is me media. So if you project say over 100 media will come and if the Congress room is small into mo person last year the one man will be running around school be near some PT meeting and meeting. You want it to be professional because this is Ghana Football Congress into woman media phone call Emma or Munkonko Yehobebrea. What provision did you make? Say at least Omaba yemomu, but we should give them baby or metna. Then ye no mabe on press briefing na ya kwa film. Now omo de car by to mokam. Nkunya na go bi to then on say no akana na so peti. You have to go and stand somewhere. But also ye pram national team and assignment wo ho. Untim konkore baby keke. Ukora na kopai konfo. You don't have anything to say. So maybe they no say in fact what they did, you have your opinion, but how omo execute plan no, and even the die minutes on make assembly to and no answer. I was even shocked. Say uko Congress now ubedu any motive say security ubedu say bia one hwe kra uhu uyemehye, and it wasn't necessary. This is Congress. And you say a election, it is just Congress. Football people kwa share idea every year be omo year. So maybe I don't know me, I think say anytime people have been saying that this FA, they really do not respect the media, and it's quite unfortunate. Say the president was once a media person. In fact, people in the ESCO, Fredachi, Madame Fupai, Randy Abbey, General Secretary was once also close to was also a media. All these people, so. I mean, who say even if they were Omunya Mayor President Community, what would be their comment? So I think that whatever they did, after all, whether it was live, whether the media was in, you people were the football people were going to vote, and him said majority of the football people needed the Mukako vote. So I don't know whatever happened. I think that we are hoping that next year Congress oh, this time around we are allowing the people to enter. At that time, does that mean that Omukako in the bigger grounds and I said they also open for accreditation? So whatever they did, I don't want to say be always, but I say this FNE media for no some fight by the media for them and it's not that because oh yeah the papa people will say it and. They shouldn't say, oh, and Congress, na na ska, but you see, this is Ghana football. Say, oh, my clubs 2 million Ghana cedis. I mean, it's a step in the right direction. But and you say, because this is something that should have been done long time ago. How many sponsors in the league in the world? So, and you call press briefing. People are asking, say, is it true that I buy the cash injection bomb? And the question is no. The money our money from that. This is production any government being for cash because people are. I am for one say we don't have sponsors, but you just can see the because league any sponsors be so whatever is maybe the third term whatever issue or more are making it clear say even if Oma improve the third term issue they made reference the ESCO members now got 3 terms, so it is for them to amend.
I think so they didn't allow you inside, so whatever happened inside, we shouldn't even talk about it. I think I've decided, wherever I am, I will not tolerate because if you want me to come and talk about what really happened inside, you allow me to come in, observe my own, then record what I want to record. And use that as what a backing to what maybe narration. I mean, now we won't decide we be now family to about to say we should go and a young conco can how I will open. That is no independence of a journalism, and I will not fall a victim to that nonsense. What idea I believe say an attack on one journalist is an attack on all journalists, and for that matter, I was a show concern, and that is what I've done. You know, Nyame adomo ochina yebese ehia na yeba be review the Super Cup no we are by the time no na ye flyer for ye prediction ni ade no for the relegation ni omo mbeje ni top 5 you be in top 5 anti ye de nyina be de be ba na ya ba be disan komo na ochane Thursday right then Friday ni aba be rag games ni matches ni mu na ya preview matches no na ye de ya analysis aba na fi ya hwe omo am betumi twa bet ni ya mo twa bet nyame adom a ye be say hia ya kra mu